Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
I faintly remember playing a game during my school days. So what we would do is we would write down two names and try to cancel out common letters and then try to find out the remaining letters and then count them. Once you have a count, once you note this down, what we would do is we would write down this word flames, Flames, and we would go ahead and we would try cancelling out the letters after counting the given number. And whatever remains is the relationship between these two people. For example, let us take names of two people, Amit, and Amit likes Deepika, the celebrity, right? So what we can do is we can try to see what will their relationship lead to, right? This is a very childhood game that we all have played. At least I have played. My classmates would play a whole lot of this. So A and A gets cancelled, the Amit A and Deepika A, and M is not in common. I and I gets cancelled. T is not in common. So the number here would be MTDEEPK, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Now what we do is we start counting from F. F is 1, L is 2, A is 3, M is 4, E is 5 and S is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Moment 7 comes, that part is struck out. And then again I start with L. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and A gets struck out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, S goes away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, L goes away. M is 1, E is 2, M is 3, E is 4, 5, 6, 7, M goes away and E remains. So the fun conclusion would be Amit and Deepika have the relationship enemies, E for enemies. So similarly, F stands for friend, L stands for love, A stands for affection, M stands for marriage, that Amit will be marrying the celebrity Deepika, and E means they are enemies, which unfortunately turns out to be the answer. S is the celebrity is a sister. So, as I said, it's a fun game. People would have played this, but the reason why we chose this as a candidate example is this represents a very famous mathematics question called the Josephus problem. Okay, if you're interested, you can take a look at it. But what interests us in Joy of Computing is to write a piece of code for this. And what would we do? A piece of code that will ask for the guy's name and then the celebrity girl's name, and then will tell you what is the relationship between them using this fun algorithm.
Hello guys, welcome to Programming Screencast on Flames. So Flames is nothing but a game that's a very interesting game that most of you would have played in your childhood, I guess. Or if not played, you would have seen someone playing, or you would have seen somewhere the game is being played. Some experience would be there. So we are going to relive those childhood days through this joy. So before starting with the programming part, let me take you back to those memorable days by explaining what this actually game is, what this game Flames is. So we'll start off with it. So in Flames, what are these things? F-L-A-M-E-S. It's not just a single word. All this has some expansion sort of thing. So F stands for friends, L stands for love, A stands for affection, M stands for marriage, E stands for enemy, S stands for siblings. So this is what we abbreviate and call as Flames. So basically in this game, if you could see some two names are given, and mostly it would be the case that one is a boy and one is a girl. That makes sense, right? Basically for Flames, if you see the expansion, you have something like love, marriage, all those are generally between people of different genders, right? So it's generally the case that one of your name is of a male and other one is of a female. So two names are given and you're supposed to predict or sort of just say what could be the relationship that could exist between these two people. For example, Ajay and Priya. or the two names we have. What is the relationship between these two is what you're going to predict. So what we generally do is we would strike out the common letters between the two names, and then we'll start counting from here. How many letters are left out? Based on that, we'll start counting and we'll cross out each and every letter, and slowly we'll proceed till we just have one letter left out in this word flames, and that particular letter is the result, is what is displayed. This is how it goes. Maybe let me go slowly. The first thing is, I said you should cross out the common letters, right? You should cross out the common letters. So as you could see, there are two names. You need to cross out the common letters. We'll first explore this part of crossing out the common letters. See, you take a single name, Ajay. You have two letters here and here. That is common. That is, here is also a letter A and here is also a letter A. You cannot cross out these two. This crossing out is not allowed. What is allowed is you have a A here and you have a A in the other person's name. So you can cross out these two letters, and this is allowed. So once you have crossed out, the names now that remain is J and Priy. That is the names that remain. So as I said, you can remove A or you cross out A, and what you have as remaining, you compare those two names. See, as I had said, you are comparing these two names, and here also you have a letter in common, Y. So you have to cross out this letter Y. I'm sorry, this has to be Y. So remove Y and now compare these left out strings, JA and PRI. You have to compare it. JA and PRI, if you compare, there is no match, there is nothing common between these two strings. So in this point of time, you count how many letters are remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 letters are remaining. So here the answer we get is 5. Now you have the word flames. You start counting from the left. Count 5 because we got 5 in the previous step. So count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See? So E is where we are stopping at. So you have to cross out that E. So E, enemy, is not the relationship. You have to cross it out. And the next round, you should not take it as FLAMS. Instead, you should start from this point S, start at S, and then you add out the left hand side part. Whatever is in the right side, you have to take it first. Then you have to add the left side as it is. That is how you have to take it for the next round. So for the next round, now I get SFLAM. Now I have to repeat it with this. So let me do that. Okay, SFLAM. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am at M. So M is crossed out. So after you cross out M, whatever is in the right, there is nothing in the right, so leave it. Then whatever is in the left, SFLA, this is in the left. So you have to check it with SFLA. Now see, we have 4 letters remaining, but we need to go in counts of 5. So where will we go for the 5th letter? Nothing. Just come back to the first letter and start counting again. This is how you do. This is what we call as modular counting. So that is what we are going to do now. Go in the clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction. I'm sorry, anti-clockwise. Okay, so SFLA. So you have to start counting 5 letters from the left and go back in the anti-clockwise direction. I'm sorry, this is anti-clockwise. SFLA. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again come back here. 5. So you are at S. So you cross out S. So whatever is in the right, FLA. Whatever is in the left, nothing. So you have to now compare FLA. Let us do that. FLA. Same like that, you have to count 5 and you have to go it in the anti-clockwise direction. Please note this, it's anti-clockwise because we are going this way. We are going in this way, so it is anti-clockwise. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are at L. So L is not the relationship. So you cross this out. You cross out this L. L is not the relationship. You cross it out. Now what is remaining? In the right side you have A, you write it. Then on the left side you have F, write it. So you are left out with A and F. Now you have to repeat it with this. So let us do that. A and F. We'll count 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at A we are standing, so we have to cross out A, and now we are left with just one letter F, and this is when we have to declare the result is friends. So Ajay and Priya were friends is what we got. This is how we have to play this game. So what is the thing that is slightly challenging here is you have to do the modular counting, and you have to start counting from the part where you left. That is, that time we had stopped at E, so we had to start our string next time with S. So S F L A M we have to take. We could not take F L A M S. So that is where is the tricky part here. So we have to try coding this thing. That is what we are going to do in this exercise. We'll see that in the next video. Alright guys, so in the previous video you had seen what is this game of flames. So it is basically you have two names and you have to cross out the common letters across the two names. That is, within the name, if the letter repeats you cannot cross it out. If it repeats, that is, if you have one letter at name 1 and other letter at name 2, you can cross out the two letters. Like that you keep crossing the common letters, and at the end how many letters are left out, you have a count of it, and you go in steps of that many number of counts along the word flames from the left, and if it exceeds the word length you again come back to the first letter in the anti-clockwise direction and you proceed it. This is how you play flames, right? So we had run through an example. We had taken two names Ajay and Priya, and we had run through and we found that at the end of our game the letter that remains is F, which denotes friends. So Ajay and Priya are friends is what we got as a result. So something like that we have to play the game. So for that we'll do the programming part now. Before going into the actual programming part, I would like to give you some introduction to some prerequisites that is needed to code this Joy Flames. So let us go ahead with the prerequisites. So the string is nothing but list of characters. As you could see, string is what the technical term we give for words. Name is nothing but words, right? So name consists of a group of characters. So like that, if we have a group of characters, group of letters is technically called as characters, and a group of characters is what we call as string technically. So when dealing with strings, we need to know of some functionalities of strings, and which is available in the Python package, namely string. There is a package named string. So let me import that first. Import. So let me start. So the first thing that we have to do is import this package named string. Let me do that. Import string. This is the name of the package. Yes, we have imported this package string. If you feel the name is lengthier, you can use as and give a smaller name, SG, something like that. It's your wish. For me, string is okay, so I am doing this. So let me say the string I have S is some string. Strings, generally the notation is we initialize it within double quotes. So let us say the name of the person is Raj. Raj is the name of the person. So if this is the name of the person, I have a mix of capital letter, that is the uppercase characters, we call them as the capital letters, and the small letters, which we call them as lowercase characters. We have a mix of uppercase and lowercase. If I want to convert it to all in uppercase or all in lowercase, I have a functionality with the corresponding name. Let us see that. So first let me see for lowercase, that is all small letters is what we call as lowercase. Lowercase is nothing but small letters. I want to convert it into completely small letters. So I would do it as print. I want to print it in that format. I'll print it. See, S dot lower is the functionality. You have this functionality S dot lower. If I print, see, I'm getting the name in all small letters. The same if I want it for all caps, what I'll do is print S dot, as you would have guessed, it's uppercase. The capital letters are technically called as uppercase characters. So we'll use the functionality upper. Okay. So this is the functionality. So let me press enter. See, Raj, it's printed in all caps, the uppercase letters. So this is how you get the complete lowercase or complete uppercase of a mixed string, or even if you give in all small letters, if you still apply s dot lower, there is no problem. It will return the same string. That is, what this functionality does is it will check if the given input string has all small letters. If yes, it will return the same string. Otherwise, it will convert all the letters to smaller letters and return that converted string. Similar is the case for upper function. It will check if all the input characters, that is the input string has some characters. If all those characters are in uppercase, that is the capital letters, or not. If everything is in capital letters already, it will return the same input. Otherwise, it will convert the letters into the corresponding capital letters, that is the uppercase letters, and return the converted string. So this is how these two functionalities work. So upper and lower, these functionalities, for it to work properly, we need to import this package string. And the next thing is, we were actually looking at individual character level, right? So we were checking whether this particular letter Ajay, A, the first letter, whether is it present in the next name Priya. It was present, so we cancelled. The next letter J we will compare. It was not present. Next letter A we will compare. It is not present. So something like that we will be doing. Right, so we will compare letters by letters. So when we have this as a whole string, we cannot do that comparison. So we need to convert it into list of characters, list of individual letters. That is what we need to do it. That will be required in our program. So we'll see how can this be done. So let me say the string list is nothing but list of the string S. The variable is S, so I am passing it. Okay, so it was converted into a list. So let me see what is present. So let me say print string list. Okay, so it contains the individual letters R, A and J. So it is a single string is converted into a list of 3 characters, right? So this list function precisely does that. It will take the individual character, make it an element, and convert a single string into list of individual characters. That is what this functionality does. Another thing that you can do with strings is you can find and replace. I hope you would have heard of this terminology. This is most popular if you are a movie watcher as well. If you watch in movies, some movies have comedy scenes based on that. I hope you are remembering. 3 Idiots is one of them. It has been dubbed or remade into some other languages as well. So in that, they'll find a particular word and replace it with some other word, and they'll make a hilarious situation out of it. So something like that, we can do a replace operation here. So we'll find a character and replace it with something else. So let us say I don't want to print J. I want to print some other letter in place of it. So how should I do that? So I would say print, I want to print the result S dot replace is the name of the functionality. Replace of, as I said, I don't want J, so I will write J here. J with, let me say I want to print it with hash, so I'll say hash. So if I say it is printed as RA hash, in place of J, hash is substituted. So this replace function precisely does that. It will search for this particular string here and it will substitute this string in place of it. This is a source string and this is a target. This is the source, this is the target. It will search for the source and it will replace it with the target. It's not necessary that you need to give just single letter. You can give substrings as well. So let me modify it. I'll say AJ. I can give a substring. A part of the string is what you call as substring. In substring, what is mandatory is the letters must be in the same order. If I say AJ and if I press enter, see R and the part AJ gets converted into this hash. And here this is case sensitive. That means if it is in a small letter, it has to be in a small letter, otherwise it won't agree. If I say RA and say enter, see, hash J is the output. So this particular substring RA is searched, and in place of that you are substituting hash. It happens. Now I'll check with smaller array. Small array, I'll check. See, you're not getting something like this, you're getting Raj completely, because it is case sensitive. That is, whatever is this, it is a smaller letter or a capital letter, that is, it's a uppercase or a lowercase letter, depends on that it will find and substitute. So this replace functionality is case sensitive. We call this as case sensitive. By case sensitive we mean if it is a capital letter, you must say capital letter. If it is a small letter, you must say small letter. It won't match. Okay, it's the same letter, just that is in caps and this is in small. It doesn't perform that kind of a match. That is what we call as case sensitive. And most of the passwords are case sensitive if you have been using it, your mail or with your net banking, anywhere. The passwords are case sensitive. So in that case, if you say a capital A, it is different from a small a. This is what we call as case sensitive. Alright, so this is how this replace functionality works. And even here you can give something. So let me say I'll give this capital RA and I can give star hash. I can give something like that as well. So even here you can give a substring. In place of this substring, you substitute this substring. That can also be given. It is telling us star hash and J. Or maybe I can do this way as well. I can say just A. See what happens? Let us see. See, in place of A, star hash has been substituted. So this is nothing but you find this source, whatever is the source. In place of that substring, you substitute this substring. That is what this replace functionality does. I hope you are clear with this. Why would you use replace functionality in the code? We'll see. Alright. The next thing that is needed is slicing of a list. I hope you have used it already in some of your previous weeks. But still let us have a recap because we will be using it extensively here. The slicing plays a major part here. So we'll see a recap of it. So let us see, we had a list, right? SL. This is a list. You had RAJ. And in case I want to extract only a specific part of the list. Say for example, this is a smaller list. So let me take a larger list. Let me say L equal to, I'll take letters itself because we are going to deal with strings. So let me take letters only. A, B, sorry, this has to be C, C, B, E. This has to be a comma. F. Okay. So let us consider this list containing 6 elements. This is my list L containing 6 elements A, B, C, D, E, F. So if I want to extract some portion of this list only and display, that is what we call as slicing. You are taking a slice out of the entire list is what you call as slicing. So how would you do that? L within the indexes, brackets, square brackets, you should give the start index from, say, let me say index 1 up till index 4. Let us see what happens. Okay, as you could see, I had given the index 1 to index 4. So what is the output? It starts from index 1. As you know, the list indexing starts from 0. So A is at index 0, B is at index 1, C is at index 2 and so on. So index 1, the letter found is B. So B is printed. Index 2, C is printed. Index 3, D is printed. And index 4, E is not printed. So this is how this slicing functionality works. The end index is ignored. So this means when you reach the index 4, you stop the process. You don't print that. You don't include it. That is what this means. So this portion of the list is sliced and taken. So this is how slicing works. And another thing is, it is not mandatory to give both the indices, the start index and the end index. That is, it is optional. So if I say list of, I don't give a start index, I just give an end index. Let us see what happens. Okay, so this is the output. See, you are getting A, B, C, D just before the 4th index. So if you don't give a start index, the default value that is taken is 0. 0 is taken as the default value, and from 0 till 4 minus 1, 3. The 3rd index, everything gets printed. Everything gets added to the output. Alright. What if I don't give the end index? I'll say 2. I don't give an end index. What happens? From index 2, A is at index 0, B is at index 1, C is at index 2. From index 2, it prints the entire list. So the default value of the end index, if you don't give, is taken as the length of the list. So a recap or a summary of what we have seen till now. Slicing is nothing but you cut the required portion of the list. You just take a part of the complete list is what you call. You're slicing, you're taking a slice of the list. That is why you call it as slicing. Give the square brackets, and within that you need to give start index colon end index plus 1. Please note that it is end index plus 1 because the last index won't be counted into the output. It will ignore at that index. It will stop at that index. So you have to give end index plus 1. And it is not mandatory for you to give both start index and end index. It is optional. In case you don't give the start index, the default value is taken as 0. If you don't give the end index, the default value is taken as length of the list. So what if I don't give both? Let me do that. What if I do this? The entire list gets printed because the default values are taken. So this works basically like L of 0 to length of the list is 6 here. So 0 to 6. It will start at index 0. Print A, print B, print C, print D, print E, print F, which is at index 5 and index 6. When the counter reaches 6, it will stop. So it will stop here and it will print the entire list. So this is how it works. If you give the value, it will take that particular index. The way you have to give is start index and end index plus 1. Please note this plus 1 fact. End index plus 1. And if you don't give the index, it will take the default values. The default value for start index is 0. The default value for end index is length of the list. Okay guys, I guess you have a good revision of the list slicing, which you had studied some weeks back, as well as you saw the new functionalities of upper, lower, replace in strings. Please do explore these functionalities. Also, there are some more functionalities that are available. Please do explore them and get more familiarized with these features with the commands. Also, yes, just one more command that you will be using in this. We'll see if this is the list L and I want to get the index of an element. I know the element, I want to get the index. That can be done by using the function index. Let us see that. Print L dot index is the function. You need to pass the element here. The element, let me say, is D. I want to know the index of the element D. So if I print, I'm getting 3. The index of the element is 3. In case if there are multiple places this element D is present, if your list is A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, E, F, just assume if that is your list, then the first occurrence of the value, that is what is returned as the output here. The index function will return the first occurrence of this element in the given list. The index function returns the first occurrence of the given element in the given list, right? So this is how this index functionality works. So what all you have seen? We have seen the upper functionality which converts the string into completely uppercase letters, lower functionality which converts the string into completely lowercase letters, replace functionality which searches for a substring and substitutes it with another substring. Then we have seen list slicing with start index and end index plus 1. Then if you don't give the start index or an end index, what is the default values, how it works, we have seen. And we have seen this functionality of index which returns you the first occurrence of a given element in the list. So this is what we have seen now. These are the prerequisites that are needed to code Flames. So with this, maybe you can start thinking and you can start trying to code Flames. So from this, develop a logic and you check it with what we are telling in the next video. That would be the best thing. That's the best way you can develop programming logic and you can do it by yourself. I would recommend that. And please do explore what are the other features available here. And by exploring and practicing, you become a better programmer. And so keep practicing is what I would say. Okay guys, thanks for watching this. We'll see how to implement Flames in the next video. Alright guys, in the previous videos you had seen what is this game of Flames, how is it played. We had taken some example and then we had traced through every step of the game how it is played. Then in the next video we had seen some prerequisites that is needed to code Flames. One was using the functionalities of string like replace upper, lower, etc. And the other one was you have to know how to slice some part of the list. So we are going to deal with list. So we are going to convert a string into list of characters, and that is how we are going to process it. So you have been given some insights on how you slice a list and how you deal with parts of lists and all. That's what was given to you, and index functionality was given to you. That will be of great use for us. So let us now go ahead with the programming part. So for that, before starting off here, I had recommended you that you analyze the game, you understand the previous two videos, you understand the procedure of the game, and then you use the prerequisites that has been taught to you in the second video, and based on these two you try coding Flames, and then in case you have done something, you can verify what you have done with what we are telling, and in case if it differs, what I am going to say now is not the only way by which you can do with multiple ways. So there may be some differences with which what you have tried and what I have been showing. There may be some differences. So in that case, please do discuss your strategy in the discussion forum. So we'll be very happy to help you out on your approach and how will it work. Will it work in all cases? We will help you out. So you please go ahead and try it yourself. Then you come back and check here. So just use this video as a verification for what you had tried. So don't completely blindly follow this video and code line by line. You try yourself, then you come back and use it as a guide. This video is just a guidance for you on how you can code Flames. This is just one way by which you can do. There are many ways. This is not the only way. There can be multiple ways. So you try out the different ways and please do discuss on the discussion forum. Okay, so let's start off with this. So as I had said, the first thing is we need to, I had imported string, and now I have to input the name of the two persons. So let me say person 1 P1. I'll get the name. So to get the input, I have to use the functionality input function. Input, and I have to give the message here. I'll say enter first person name. Let me call it as first person name. I'll get the input. Alright. So there may be a case that a person may use a combination of capital letters and small letters, and as I have said, the replace functionality and all the functionalities of strings are case sensitive. That is, if you give capital letter, it will look strictly for capital letter. It won't consider the corresponding small letter version. So it is case sensitive. So it is better that we convert this input into a common format by using either of the upper or lower functions. So I had demonstrated both of the things in the previous videos. You can use whatever you wish. So this is to ensure that the comparisons are not skipped. For example, we had taken the names Ajay and Priya. Assume that they are using capital letter for the first letter of their name and rest they are using in small letters. So if he'll give an input as capital A, J, small a, small y. And the second input will be capital P, small r, small I, small y, small a. So when you compare, it will say capital A, which is the first letter of Ajay, and small a, which is the last letter of Priya. It will say they are different, but whereas we want them to be considered as same. So it is better that we convert them into a common format. So that is why we are going to convert it into lowercase. Let us say lowercase. So I will convert it into lowercase. So my new input will be the name of the person. The new name will be p1 dot lower. That is a functionality. I'm going to convert into lowercase. So as I had said, this is just to ensure that the input is in the uniform format. So this is how you converted into lowercase. And your full name, I had just taken the first names in the example that I have considered. In case you're typing in your full names, there may be the case that you may give your first name, give a space, then give a surname. For example, Ajay Sharma. If that is the name, Ajay space Sharma, they may input. This space shouldn't cause a problem anywhere. So we'll trim out all the spaces from the name. What if the first person has the lengthier name? If it is Ajay Sharma and the second person doesn't have a surname, it's just Priya. This space should not be counted as an extra character in the future runs, and that shouldn't cause a problem. So we'll trim off all the spaces from the names. So that will be what we'll be doing here. For that, we'll use this replace functionality that we had seen. So we'll do that. Then P1 is now P1 dot replace. What do I want to replace? The space with empty character, nothing. The space must be trimmed. That's what I want. So I am replacing it. So this is what I have done. This is just to make sure that the space doesn't cause problem in the final computation. So we had done it for person 1. The same goes for person 2. So let me copy and paste it and do some modifications. It's person 2. Here even it's person 2. Here even it's person 2. It's person 2. Person 2. So what have we done till now? We have got the name. We have converted everything into lowercase so that the mismatches due to one being in uppercase and one being in lowercase doesn't occur. We have converted everything into uniformly into lowercase. You can even do it for uppercase. And other thing what we have done is we have trimmed the spaces. So wherever we have the spaces, we have cut off the spaces and we have made it into just a list of characters. Just a sequence of characters is what we have now. So we have a sequence of characters, as I have said. So we have to convert it into list. So let me say L1 for list 1. Let me say L1 is nothing but I have to convert it into list. So how will we do that? Using the list function. List of the first person name P1. So you have the list of characters. Similarly, we want it for L2. The list of for P2. The list of all the characters in P2, the person 2 name. So now we have the list. What should we do? We should remove the matching letter. Remove the matching letter from this list 1 and list 2. You have to remove this matching letter. So this is what you want to do now. So it's not just one letter, even it's multiple letters. So this has to run inside a loop. Just give a pause here and think how can you do it. So this requires some amount of logical thinking to get it perfect. So pause here for some time and think. We'll see how this functionality can be implemented in the next video. Alright guys, so in the previous videos you had seen how to play the game of Flames. We had traced it with an example. Then we saw some prerequisites. I had asked you to give a try of writing a code. Then this videos we have to take it as a guidelines. Just a guidelines, that's it. This is not the only way by which you can do. You can do it in multiple ways. So please do discuss if you have another way in the discussion forum. And so in the previous video I had started off by asking for input of the two persons' names, converting them into uniform format of all small letters. I had trimmed off the spaces, and now we have to see how to remove the matching letter. That is a functionality we want to see. So let me say I'll define this functionality here. Define remove matching letter. Right, that was the functionality, right? So let me define it here. So it had taken two parameters, list 1 and list 2. It had taken two parameters. So let me use it. So what should I do? I have to take a letter of the first list, take a letter, check if that letter is present anywhere in the second list. If so, you say there is a match and you cross out. Otherwise, you proceed with the next letter. That's what you will be doing, right? So for that, what should we do? We need to run loops. So how many loops? 2 loops, because we have to match for each letter at which position in the second list you have the occurrence of that letter. So we need to have 2 loops. So let us do that. So let me start my first loop for I in range. So basically you're actually going through each and every index and checking the element, right? So I have to check through till you reach the length of the string. So range, you have to give the end value plus 1, right? Basically, so I want to go till the end of the string. Basically end of the string is nothing but length minus 1, that is the index of the end. So length minus 1 plus 1, that is nothing but length. We have to stop at this. I guess you're familiar with this, just that why we are giving it as length, I was giving an explanation. That's it. Length of this list you have to pass, that is for that many number of iterations, that is for that many number of letters you want to make a check, right? So iterate it over the first list, the same like that you iterate it over the second list. For j in range, length of the list L2. Okay, so what should you check? If the letters are matching. So how would you check it? you have to use it by indexing, right? So the name of the list followed by square brackets. Within the square brackets you need to give the index. So we'll do the check now. If the list 1 at the position I, at the index I, and the list 2 at index j contains the same letters, that is checked by equal to operator, double equal to operator, which checks the equality. If they both are equal, then you capture that letter, that is your common letter. You have to capture it, common letter. That's why I have used the letter C. C for common letter. You can use L1 of I or L2 of j, because both are equal, right? Both the values are equal. So you can use anything here. And now you have to remove that element from the list. So that's what we'll cross out, right? In a paper we'll cross out, but in computer how do you cross out? So crossing out is nothing but removing it from the list. That's what we will be doing it. So let me remove L1 dot remove is the functionality. Remove this element C from the list, and L2 dot remove the same element C. Alright, so now we'll have to find once that letter is removed, whatever is the string, you need to have it, and you need to do it for both. You have two strings modified, right? So let me concatenate it. You will understand why soon. Let me concatenate the two strings, two modified strings. Let me make a new list L by saying L1 plus, I'm concatenating another list. I'll use a dummy character, say star, then I'll concatenate this list L2. Why am I creating this concatenated list? You will come to know very soon. This is just one way. It's not the only way. You can do it in any way. This is my way of doing, that's it. It's not the way of doing. It's just one way of doing it. Okay, so this is my list, and now here I have found a match at some letter. So I had removed that letter and I have a new strings, and in between the new string I'm using star as the marker sort of a thing. So this first person name has ended, and this is the name of the second person. So I am using a marker, right? So I'll have to return that. I have found a matching letter. So remove matching letter is the functionality, right? So I have found a matching letter and I have removed it. So you have to say that, and you have to return that value to the called function. So I will return a list. Say inside that list I'll pass this concatenated list, and I'll say true. I can pass any values, right? I can pass numbers, floating point values, characters, boolean values, anything I can pass, right? So I'll say I have true that I have found the matching letter. I have removed it, and this is the list you get after removing the matching letter. So you are concatenating it. So you'll run this loop for all the things, right? So the very first time when you find a match, you remove that letter and return that list. That's it. In case you run through the loop completely and you still didn't find the match, what happens? It will come to the end of the loop, right, at this point. So in that case you didn't find a matching letter. So in that case, what should you do? You should return, I'll say same like that, you generate this list. This has to be done because this is done inside the loop, right? In case you came out of the loop, this would never be executed, and you need to do that. So let me copy this line because I want to repeat it again. So let me say I have created a concatenated list. I'll return the concatenated list, and I'll say false. That is, this is the concatenated list, but in these two items I haven't found a matching character. That's why you're returning false. So this is how you do. So basically you run through the loop, you check for each letter whether that letter is present in the next list anywhere. If it is present, you remove that matching letter and you return the concatenated list and return true, stating that there was a matching letter and it was removed. If there is no matching letter, just you do the same concatenation process, return the concatenated list and say false, stating that there was no matching letters. Okay, so this is how it has been done. So we have been returning it. So when we have returned it, we have returned a list, right? So we need to capture a list. So let me say returned list is nothing but we are capturing it, and we need to do it continuously for some till there is no matching letter. So how will we come to know that there is matching letter or there is no matching letter? How will we come to know that? So we need to have a flag sort of thing. This is what we call as flags in programming, that will say whether to continue, whether to proceed with something or you should stop. So sort of a flag is an indicator for some it's a direction sort of thing, right? So that indicates that something is present here. The flag indicates something like that. Here our flag will indicate whether there is some matching letters still present or should we still proceed or no, that's it. There is no matching letter. You can start counting with the flames part. That's the second part of our game. The first part is we have to cross out all the matching letters. Second part is we have to go in the anti-clockwise direction of counting to determine what is the relationship between two people in flames, in the word flames, right? So we'll be doing it. So the first part is we are removing the matching letter. So the flag will say whether we can proceed towards second part or no, we cannot proceed. So let me use a flag for that. Let me say proceed. Let me use the same name so that it's easier on minds. Proceed equal to true. Initially we have to proceed. The first run we must check for matching letters, and then only we cannot directly start counting, right? We should check for matching letters and then only we can start counting. So the first run it is always true, and as long as the proceed is true, you keep checking for the matching letters. I'll have to indent it now. Okay, as long as it says proceed, you keep checking. So the returned list contains two information. One is the concatenated list and the other is whether you can proceed or not. That is, one letter has been removed and you can proceed, or there is no more matching letters, there is no need to proceed. It returns whether we have to proceed further or not, right? So it's returning two information. So we have to extract that out from this returned list. So concatenated list is what I want to make. I want to extract out from the returned list. So that is present as the first element of the list. The first element of our list is the concatenated list. So I am removing it. Return list of 0. 0 is the index by which you access the first element. Right. Remember that array, the list indexing starts from 0. The counting starts from 0. Please remember this. Okay. So I have taken the concatenated list, and now the second part of the list is whether should I proceed or not. So it will say I have to proceed is nothing or not. So proceed is nothing but it is present in the concatenated list second position, that is index 1. So I have taken the concatenated list and proceed. And in this concatenated list consists of the two names concatenated and there is a star in between, right? See, that's how we have concatenated. We had taken the name, we had removed that common letter, taken that name, appended a star, then we had taken the second name, right? That's how we have it. So the star marks is a marker that the first string has completed, and after this whatever comes is the second string, right? So star is a marker. So we have to find where is this particular index where the star is present. So where is the star present we have to find, and at that place we have to split, we have to slice this list. So this is where that list slicing what we had seen come into play. So we'll be slicing the list here. So let me say star index is nothing but concatenated list, and this concatenated list, what is the index of the element star. So that's what I'm going to check. This is what I'm going to call as star index, and now I'm going to extract out the lists again. So L1 is the name of the first person in the list format that is present before star, right? So you have to start from the first index, and when you encounter the star, you should stop. You should not include the star. You should include everything before star. So what should be the end index? Whatever is the place where star is present, right? So please give a minute time here. Think, why am I doing this? You will understand if you give some time. That's where the logical thinking is. I don't want the star. The function behaves in such a way that whatever I give as an end index, that will be ignored. So as I had said, we have to give a start index and end index plus 1. So if you give just end index, it will ignore that end index as well. So I want to give +1. So I don't want star, I want star to be ignored. That's why I'll give star index as my end index. Start index I don't need to give, I want it from the beginning. So the default value, let it be taken, and I'll just give the end index. So I'll do it from concatenated list. You have to perform the slicing operation. No need to give the start index because I want it from the beginning, the default value, and I have to ignore the value of star at this index where the star index, at this point the star is present. I want to ignore that point, so I'll give that as my end index. Star index is where I want to end. So whatever is there till you reach star index, whatever is there, that will be captured in this list L1. Okay, same like that, what should be there in L2? Anything after star till the end. So till the end I wanted, so that's the default value will be taken for end index. So I need not give the value of end index, but start index I should give start index, but wherever I give, it starts from there. So should I give star index as my start index? No, because if I give star index as my start index, it will say star PRAIY. I want just PRIY, I just want the name, I don't want star here. So I should say star index +1. The next place you should start my next slicing. So I should say star index +1 is the starting index here. Star index +1 till the end value is taken, the default value is taken. So till the end will be considered. So 2 slices have been made. So this is why we had concatenated the list. Like this is the name you wanted and this is the name you wanted. This is just one way, or maybe you can pass it as a list of 3 values as well. You can think of it. You can pass it as L1, L2, true, or L1, L2, false. You can do it that way as well. That is even another way. So as I have said, there is no just single way by which you can do. You can do it by multiple ways. So this is just one way of doing it. So now just read through this loop. So you had taken the list of characters. You had set some flag like proceed, right? You had set it to true initially because you want to check if there is matching letters or not. The first instance you cannot take a risk of directly going to counting. You should check for matching letters. So I said proceed with the checking of matching. So remove the matching letter. So it will loop through the lists. It will loop through both the list. If you find a matching letter, it will remove that from the list. It will concatenate it with a star in between, return the concatenated list, and return true if it has found a matching letter, and return false otherwise. If there is no matching letter, it will return false. So from this you will understand whether to proceed with the next iteration. That is, we have found with the first iteration Ajay and Priya. Let us take the same example, A and A. It is returned. So should I continue with checking for another matching letter, or can I continue with counting? So that is returned by this proceed. So that is extracted the concatenated list. From that list we have extracted out, and we had extracted the flag proceed. So if it says true, that is it has found one matching letter, there is a possibility that there is another matching letter, so we have to proceed it again. If it was not present, if there is no matching letter present, if you again check it, again obviously you won't get any matching letter, right? So that time you can stop. So that is captured in this flag proceed, and this is your concatenated list, and star was the separating marker in our concatenated list. So based on the star index, I had sliced the list into 2 portions, and I have my list L1 and L2 ready for my next iteration. I have found my one matching letter. I am trying to find another matching letter if possible. So I will repeat till all matching letters are found. If there is a position where there is no matching letter, in that time I will say that okay, this is when I have to stop. There is no matching letter, I have to stop. So this is the part 1 of the game, crossing out the matching letters. Next comes counting in a circular fashion and predicting the relationship in flames. We'll see that in the next part of the video.